General Meston, political consensus is that you need to disarm the group. I have given you the logistic part: 1,100 arms, 13,702 ammunition, 250 bombs. And you have today's Peer Corps Twitter account which says that they had to release the militants. Now, in this context, how does demobilization and disarmament takes place? You have always given example of Rwanda, you have given Hutus and Tutsis example. How do you disarm people? What happens when you go for disarming civil societies which have armed themselves? How can that happen? Can you just shed some light on it?
Yeah, there are various
House to house
methodologies.
search, whatever. Can you please take us through?
Yeah, there are various methodologies to implement this. Firstly, most of the time, it is resolved through a political and a politico-military dialogue with the militant groups, any militant group. We have a dialogue with them and motivate them that they will be taken into the national mainstream or the state mainstream if they surrender their weapons. And during the course of surrender, it's a big event, and number of times it has happened even in Northeast. And the militants come and surrender their arms, and they are assured of I would say dignified life thereafter because they are involved into the mainstream. But if there are some hardcore terrorists who have killed people, obviously for them stern action is taken. See, not every militant is supposed to be involved in killings. Most of them are, just foot soldiers who are just obeying the orders. So it is the leaders. Definitely, we take a lot of action. It's happened in JNK. We have done this exercise there also, and it has got a lot of dividends. So that is first stage is that you do a lot of canvassing, you do an announcement, you have some emissaries going to the people, sending out a very positive message and encourage them that things will be looked after in a very very peaceful manner because the aim is to disarm them and thereafter we demobilize them and get them into the national mainstream. That is the first stage. Second stage is let's assume no one is coming up to surrender. Then we give some ultimate deadline that by so and so date you must surrender the weapons at so and so place. Otherwise, the armed forces will be compelled to take a strict action. Now, for example, they do not yet respond. So thereafter, firstly, we have to have specific intelligence because without intelligence, you cannot just go haywire and just keep going anywhere. So you have to have specific intelligence that so-and-so village, there are some people who have got some kind of arms ammunition. And intelligence is always available because the army and the police, especially the police, they have got good information because they have outposts and they know the local people. And army also over a period of prolonged deployment, we start knowing the locals and they come and interact with us, whether it is in Kashmir, whether it is in Northeast. And we have witnessed all this. So people come with specific intelligence. So thereafter, you have to cordon off a village and go to those specific houses and search. And whatever is there, you record it, you document it, and you take these weapons. And if you have apprehended a militant, sometimes militants also get the bent. They escape, but every time it is not possible for them to carry a weapon because what happens is if the cordon has been placed outer and an inner cordon, then for them to escape with weapons is difficult because he'll be identified. So firstly, he would try to hide it somewhere. He may hide it in some of the fields or anywhere or underneath some rock or inside the house. We have had experiences where I've done some operations in Kashmir where we have found hidden weapons inside rocks and inside some tunnels and caves. So anything is possible. So you do a detailed cordon and search operation and without causing inconvenience to the local people. That is a very, very important aspect because we do not want to cause inconvenience. So if children have to go to school, they are allowed, but they are only allowed and exited through some of the points. And there we have people deployed even from the local police because for all this we always take the local police, the local Mahila police, the women constables, and also some of the village elders so that they assist us. Tomorrow, no one should be able to level false allegations against the armed forces. So this is the way this exercise is done. And once the complete cordon and search is over, whatever is recovered, we document it. It is photographed, everything. Witnesses sign it, so that tomorrow, there is no comeback. And sometimes it also may happen that you may get a fire from some of the neighboring houses when you're going to search. Number of times that's happened in J&K. Obviously, then you have to resort to a different drill of neutralizing the terrorists again without causing collateral damage, because that is the underlying statement. So what happens is you try to clear that house first and foremost. There is an intervention drill. In fact, my both the sons are also in the Indian Army, and one of the younger sons, he's written a fantastic paper on intervention drill because he's from the special forces. So intervention drills are resorted to. Again, the aim is to neutralize the terrorist and save and take all precautionary measures that there is no collateral damage, neither to property, and more important, neither to human beings. So this is the way we generally do. And sometimes the inter-agencies, including the army, military, intelligence, they also have a very good networking. Sometimes you have stray cases where individual terrorists they are motivated by some people, by the village people, by the army people, one to one. I have done this in J&K once. I really motivated someone, and he came and revealed everything. So this is through not compulsion or force. This is actually through talking. And I think the language which we use and the respect we give to someone, that matters. Sometimes you have to touch the people's heart, and that is why the army always functions. That in insurgency areas, you have to win the hearts and minds of the people. So it's a very complex situation. In a battlefield, you know your enemy. Here, no one is our enemy. It is some misguided youth, people who are branded as terrorists. So we have to get them into the national mainstream, and that is why I say army is just one of the tools to assist. Otherwise, it is more of a political solution. The rest of the and more the important than army, it is the local police, because they are the ones who are operating 24 by 7 in all these areas. They know the people so well. And then there are a lot of people, let me tell you, now in any society I have seen, it is only very few radicalized people. Whether it is X community or Y community, you will have very few people radicalized. Rest of the people want to live in peace. And very hardcore communities I've seen, whether in Afghanistan or anywhere, including in Rwanda, between the Hutus and Tutsis, they have inter-religion, ethnicity marriages, and so is the case here. There are so many people who marry here amongst the inter-community. So there are so many people who are actually very keen on peace, but there are some vested interests who are, paid by someone, and there's an agenda. God knows whose agenda is what. But these people who are the mainstream, the unsung people, who are keeping their voices silent, one has to mobilize their voices, and they are the ones who can enforce peace or give a signal of peace. And that is why I've been harping today. Speak to the cookies, speak to the Metis. There are so many of them who want peace. Get those people, like-minded people. Why no effort has been made in that direction? When they see so many Metis and cookies, women, children, old people, elderly people who want peace, marching together, no one will fire on them. No cookie militant will fire, no Methi militant will fire. And they are the ones, because see, they are the locals. And today the message is like, even I hear some panelists, one can after two remarks make out if he belongs to which community or ethnicity. That should not happen. Because someone also quoted about something of the Indian Army. Actually, frankly, I did not hear what exactly he was saying, but your remark, I could make out that he sparred some awkward remarks in the Indian Army. I really didn't hear what was the remark, but one thing I can clarify. Indian Army, firstly, let me be very clear. We are people from all diversified groups, religions, every place we are represented. Every village there are people, including in Nagaland. And the youngest regiment in the Indian Army is the Naga Regiment, raised in 1970. It is such a great matter of honor. And people, whether they are Metis, whether they are Kukis, whether they are local Nagas, they are in this regiment. Not only Naga Regiment, they are also in the Assam Regiment. I have commanded a Maha Regiment, where when I was a div commander in Firozpur, having about 12 infantry battalions under me, I had two Assam regiments, and I used to go to the church and to the temple both and interact with the boys. They were living so happily. And another thing why I'm giving this example is, see, today we must remember, whether he's a Methi or whether he's a Kuki, he belongs to Manipur. He is part of the Indian Army also. So tomorrow, if we start spreading this hatred so much, it is going to impact the soldiers who are today so unified. I have never seen in the Indian Army this kind of a problem. Let me tell you, I'll give you an example, and this is worth quoting. My battalion is a Mahar regiment. I commanded 13 Mahar regiment. My boys primarily belong to Maharashtra from the scheduled castes. But there are people from all over India also, about 20%, all over India. And my battalion had captured, of course, I was not part of the battalion then, I was just 11 years. In 1971, we captured a post known as Thanpi in Poonch sector. And can you believe the Pakistani post, when we captured, some Baba came to the post and he said, Ki, ye jo aap log ne, you have captured this. Always on 5th December, we captured on 5th December, you must celebrate this Thanpir day and do a cut a bakra in a masjid. Can you believe? My Jawans are, majority of them actually are Buddhist and Hindus. But yet, every year on 5th December, it's a ritual. Last year, I attended this event in Roorkee. All officers we go retired, serving. This ritual is carrying on. This is unheard of. It's in a masjid we do it. And we get a Maulvi. And if we don't have a Maulvi, we get one of our Muslim Jawans who does the everything. So what I'm trying to highlight, Indian Army is the epitome of unity. And let me tell you today, to everyone in this, and through the social media I can state, the last resort for this country is Indian Army. The nation trusts Indian Army. And Indian Army is not at all ridiculized. Some people are trying to ridiculate.
General Meston, very few people would realize that when I was in Congo, I had asked, where do you guys pray? And they had taken me to the prayer bhavan, and you had this a place of worship for the Sikhs, then you had a place of worship for the Hindus, there was a place of worship for the Muslims, and there was a place of worship for the other community, and it was all side by side. And I think that was an eye-opening thing for me, that the way Indian Army organizes itself. I would say the Indian Army is the brand ambassador of Indian secularism. General Meston, do you agree? It's the brand ambassador. It's the sexiest. It's the sexiest brand ambassador. But I would say Indian Army is the sexiest brand ambassador of Indian secularism. Nothing like that. Yeah. Nothing meets it.
Let me again reiterate. Since religion and caste becomes a big issue, as an officer, wherever I've been, I was not aware who belongs to which religion and who belongs to which caste or community. Really, I'm being very honest and upright.
Okay.
So that is the hallmark. And coming on to religion, I have seen Hindus going to masjids and the Muslims coming to the Hindu temples in our unit area. So we have a Sarv Dharam Sthal, and we celebrate all festivals, whether it is Eid, whether it is Christmas, or whether it is any festival. So we respect, and this is what makes us stand out. And sometimes I feel that today the armed forces people, we can even teach so much to the outside world, including politicians, how to live peacefully. We have never had today. I have now retired about 4.5 years. Yet my Jawans call me and we meet them, and the kind of bonding. No one asks me what is your religion, and I don't ask them what is your religion. But in country today, first thing is what is your religion, what is your caste, what is your community. This is what one feels so sad about it. In the outside world, and today, tell me.
Well, General Meston, I would say that this is the reason why one institution is revered and one institution is so reviled. I mean, you would always ask your son and daughters to go into army or institution like these and never join politics.
कोई तो नहीं कहता ना नेता बन जाओ. चौथी क्लास में बच्चा पढ़ रहा है तो कोई तो नहीं बोलेगा नेता बन जाओ.
It sums up the entire debate.
सब बोलेंगे फौज ज्वाइन करो, डॉक्टर बनो. कोई तो नहीं कहता नेता बन जाओ.
Absolutely.
General Meston.
Yeah, very true. In fact, I had done a survey of young officers in the junior command force just about a few years back, and I asked them which is the most revered profession in the country. And I said, revered is not by you, by the people of India, because see, all of us come after all from some part of the country. So the first thing which they said is Indian Army, Bharatiya Sena. Number two, surprisingly, was politicians. And actually, I thought about it. Why politicians? Because they have got a lot of influence in the decision making and running of the nation. So lot of people who do not want to do anything, they join politics. And let me tell you, sometimes my Jawans have told me, sir, you come in politics, change the systems. Today the nation requires
Okay.
people who are, honest and all those kind of things. So,
Actually,
of course,
General Meston, there was a study which was done, and people, and I think that's where I don't want to divert the conversation because other three guests are waiting. But I think 2013 elections are very path-breaking. People forget that. It was done. I don't want to name the agency. It was done a year before the whole campaign of Prime Minister Modi was launched. But when the survey came out, we were among the top 5 countries, the people who love their army. मतलब उन टॉप के 5 देशों में से हैं जिन्हें अपनी फौज से मोहब्बत है. People didn't realize that it is for the reason that the first rally which the Prime Minister did was in Haryana. And was that of ex-servicemen. People said कि ये क्या हो रहा है? But people have to understand that societies are different. They have different cultural, political values. They hold certain things sacrosanct. And since our system, our army is aligned to the democratic principles, it's held in a very high stead.